Monday morning, March 30th, 2026. The Essential Buddhadhamma, compiled by Somdet Prat Bhutta Gosacharya, English name P.A. Bayuto, translated and edited by Bruce Evans. We left off at 631 as we pick up on developing concentration samadhi in a everyday life, or under direction of mindfulness sati. The development of concentration with the four itipata in terms of everyday life can be used with a task such as study or any activity where the progress or accomplishment of that task provides the goal for the iti pata, leading to the constructive effort known as patana sankhara. And from the causing of the rising of concentration, it helps the mind to be firmly established and undivided. But in leading our everyday lives, when we are dealing with mental objects, aramana, they are simply passing by and are involved with things that are such static or things that are just there in the natural course of things. There is no base upon which the itipata can establish itself. In such case, the factor to be used in inducing or developing concentration samadhi is the fundamental quality known as mindfulness sati. Because mindfulness sati is what brings the mind to its object and holds its attention there. That is, to what is being dealt with and done at that time, at that instant, in that moment. The development of concentration, samadhi, through mindfulness, sati, can be divided into two main methods. The first method involves training for those use with wisdom, or for the specific purpose of wisdom. It is the use of mindfulness, sati, to pave the way for or work in conjunction with wisdom by holding objects for submission to wisdom examination. To put it another way, mindfulness, sati, holds the mind to its object and wisdom examines or understands it. According to this method of training, concentration, samadhi, it's not the point of emphasis, but it is gained and developed in the process, promoting the use of wisdom, making it more effective. This way of training consists of most of the methods of the foundation of mindfulness, the general principles of which have already been explained, and is known as the development of concentration, samadhi, in everyday life. The second method is that of training for the expressive development of concentration itself, or focusing on concentration alone. That is, the use of mindfulness, sati, to hold the object or to hold the mind continuously on the object of attention. It is the method that gives direct emphasis to concentration, samadhi. Even though wisdom may be used to some extent, it is minimal, only as a supportive element. Take the example, reflecting on and comprehending what one has remembered, not trying to penetrate to the reality. The kind of training in the essential factor on the fourth method for developing concentration, samadhi, the traditional development of samadhi, concentration, which is discussed next. Systematic or traditional development of concentration, samadhi, the phrase systematic development here refers to the method of developing concentration that has been practiced over time. In the way of the elders, Theravada Buddhist tradition, as written and explained in the commentarial lecture, especially in the Path to Purity, Visuddhimagga. It is a method of dedicated and earnest practice focusing on the development of concentration itself within the context that is entirely on the mundane level. It is laid out in a systematic, graded path, beginning with initial preparation and proceedings to methods of practicing with each of the kinds of meditation object, kammatthana, and the progress of the practice up to absorption jhana attainments and the mundane superknowledges. The text given for systematic development of concentration samadhi can be summarized into the main steps as follows. First, once morality is pure, sila that is, one's morality, sila, has been purified. First, we cut off the 10 impediments that causes of concern, palibodha. Then we approach a good friend, kalalamitra, a teacher who has endowed with suitable qualities to give a meditation object. Third, we receive the 40 meditation objects that is suitable to one's disposition. Then we enter a place, a dwelling, a monastery, or any area that is suitable for concentration practice and eliminate minor impediments. And finally, we cultivate concentration, samadhi, according to the methods of cultivation. The particulars of practice of these main headings are described in the context of the bhikkhu monk entering into an intensive program of concentration development, which would take many months or years. For the laymen and laywomen and the householders, or for anyone who wants to practice for only a short time, the basic principles suitable to one's situation should be applied. We should remove the impediments. Palibodha means a bond or encumbrance that causes the mind to have worry and concern that does not be clear. It is simply translated as to worry. When there is palibodha, the practice will proceed with difficulty and will not be conducive to the arising of concentration, samadhi. Therefore, these worries must be eliminated. There are 10 palibodhas or detailed. The first, abode or a place, monastery. One has amassed many belongings or has unfinished work that causes one to worry. However, if the mind is not encumbered by them, then it is all right. Second, kula, the clan. This can refer to a clan or relatives of clans of supporters, which one is close to and will be the cause of worry if one leaves them. One must completely focus on developing the mind. Third is wealth. Faithfully, lay supporters come and make offerings, and one is caught up in them and cannot practice. One should go off and find seclusion. Fourth, the group. One has a group of students to whom one is obliged to give instruction and caught up in the work of teaching, answering questions. One should finish off one is still unfinished or find a replacement to take leave of the group. Fifth is work, especially construction work. This should be complete and delegated to others. 6, travel. Long journeys undertaken for some business or others, such as ordaining novices or bhikkhu monks. Such responsibilities should be completed so that one does not have to worry about them. 7, relatives. Both relatives from home and relatives from the monastery. When they are sick, one must make an effort to treat them, therefore relieve oneself without worry. Illness. One is ill. One should quickly treat the illness. If one seems that the illness will not abate, one should arouse a stout-hearted attitude, thinking, I will not be enslaved by you. I will practice. And 9th, books, studies. This is the encumbrance of one who is caught up trying to memorize what he has learned, as by reciting. If one is not caught up in it, it presents no problem. And finally, the psychic powers, ET, the powers of unenlightened beings, are a burden to maintain. However, they are an encumbrance only for those who are developing insight, not for the direct development of concentration, because one who is still developing concentration, samadhi, does not yet have any powers to worry about. When we seek our good friend, having severed the encumbrances and having nothing weighing down one's own mind, one must then approach someone who is capable of teaching concentration, who is endowed with wholesome qualities and truly moved to help others, known as a Karala Mitra, a good companion, or who is endowed with the following 7 qualities of a good friend: endearing, worthy of respect, inspiring, eloquent, open to criticism, capable of expounding on the profound, and not leading in wrongful ways. The ideal good friend is Gautama Buddha. Failing that, in the descending order, the ideal good friend is an Arihat, one of the lower levels of the noble ones, who has gained the absorption of jhana, one who has memorized the Tipitaka, or one who has conversed with the teachings. It is said that the unenlightened Bhikkhu monk who has learned may sometimes be better teacher than an Arihat who is not so learned, because the Arihat may be conversant only to the style of practice that he himself has used and only be able to teach that way. Some Arihats may not be gifted at teaching. A learned Bhikkhu monk, on the other hand, has done much research, questioned many teachers. He can teach in a way that is broad and knows many techniques to adapt and teaching as needed. A learned Bhikkhu monk, who is also an Arihat, is, of course, so much the better. Having found a good friend, one should approach him or her, conduct the appropriate duties towards that person, and request instructions, and go forth in concentration meditation. Receive or learn a suitable meditation object, Kammatthana. One should receive a Kammatthana meditation object suitable to one's disposition. Kammatthana literally means the location of one's mind's work, or the mind's workplace. It officially meaning is the object used for developing concentration, samadhi, a device used for training the mind, a technique or strategy for holding the mind in concentration. Simply speaking, it is a concentration object giving the mind something to work with, a subject upon which it is settled and not wander off. In this case, Kammatthana is anything taken as an object of concentration to induce the mind to concentration, or anything that, once the mind has taken as an object, induces the mind to have undivided attention and to become concentrated. 40 of these concentration objects are described by the commentators as follows. There are 10 kasinas. A kasina is a device for inducing the mind to concentration. A device or an object to concentrate on and lead the mind to concentration, samadhi. This method uses of external objects to concentrate and center the mind in one-pointedness. The 10 kasinas can either be natural objects or devices made especially for concentrations. Mostly the latter is preferred. There are 10 kinds of kasinas. The 4 great elements, Batu kasina. We have the earth, water, fire, and wind. Then we have 4 colored devices, blue, yellow, red, white. And miscellaneous kasinas like light and space. Then we have 10 unattractive objects, asupa. This category of concentration involved the contemplation of dead bodies in the 10 different stages of decomposition, from a body just starting to fester to a skeleton. Then we have 10 recollections, anusati. This concentration relies on wholesome objects on regular recollection, namely Buddhadhamma, recollections of Gautama Buddha and examination of his qualities, Dhammanusati, recollections of the teaching and examination of the righteous qualities, Sanghanusati, recollection of the order and examination of its qualities, Silanusati, recollections on morality, examining one's own purely maintained morality, Sakanusati, recollection on giving, on things that has been given, and examination of virtue of generosity and sacrifice within oneself, Devatanusati, recollections on the devatas, meanings the devatas of one has seen and heard of, also examination on the virtues within oneself that leads to being a devata, Maranasati, recollections on inevitability of one's own death, examining its own and bringing forth heedfulness, apamata, kayagata sati, mindfulness of the body, or recollections of the body, examination of its containing 32 unclean, unattractive, and repulsive parts. This way of comprehending the realities of the body and thus preventing delusions or infatuations in regard to it. Anapanasati, mindfulness of the in and the outgoing breath. Upasamanusati, recollections on that which is peaceful, which is nibbana, nibbida, nirvana. Examining the virtues of nibbida, which is calming of all the defilements, and dukkha, suffering. The four qualities or limitness of bindings, apamana, qualities that are to be spread towards all beings with impartiality, without limit or distinction, often referred as the four Brahmaviharas, the holy abidings. The principles for divine abidings, or that make the mind excellent, or the virtues of great beings. These qualities are as follows: metta, love, goodwill, friendliness, desire to see all people being happy; karuna, compassion, wanting to help all beings be free of dukkha; mudita, sympathetic joy, feeling of gladness when others are happy, prospering and experiencing good fortune; upekkha, equanimity, examining the mind in serenity, consistency, and equilibrium, like a scale, seeing all beings receive the good and bad fruits of their actions according to the determinants, not inclining towards like or dislike. Ahare patikula sanya, reflection on loathliness of food. Satu datu varatana, reflection on the four elements, on earth, wind, fire, and air, examining one's own body as merely as the four elements, one by one. The four formless meditation, arupa, attending to the formless qualities as concentration subject. These four can be accessed only by those who have attended to any of the first 9 kasina objects until the fourth concentration absorption jhana is attained. Akasha nasha ayatana, attaining to the limitless space which arises from removing kasina objects as objects. Vijnana cha ayatana, attaining to the limitless consciousness, ceasing to attend to limitless space and attend to instead to the consciousness that spread to emptiness as objects of awareness. Akinyana ayatana, ceasing to attend to consciousness and so attending to the state of nothingness as the object of awareness. Neva sanya na sanya ayatana, ceasing to attend even to the state of nothingness and entering the state of the neither with or without perception, or simply put, indifference. All of these meditation objects are sometimes divided into 2 categories. One category is sapatana kamanta, or concentration objects. that are benefit or should be used in all situations. That is, they can be practiced by anyone at any time. These are meditation on goodwill, metta, the recollection of death. The other is pariharya kamata tana, or meditation objects are the required management. These are meditation objects that are suitable for individual disposition, and that once taken for the practice must be consistently managed in order to be the foundation for higher practice. It is said that these 40 meditation themes differ in suitability for individual practitioners. They must be carefully chosen in accordance with the temperaments and inclination of each individual, which in Pali are called chariya. It is the right concentration subject is chosen, or let me emphasize, if the right concentration subject is chosen, the practice will yield results quickly. But if the choice is wrong, the practice will be slow or even become to failure. The word chariya, translated as regular behavior, it refers to the basic disposition of the mind, underlying temperament, or features of behavior that incline one's way or another according to a person's regular state of mind. The behavior or temperament is referred to as chariya, while the people who have such tendencies are known as charita. The example, a person with a greedy behavior is called raja chariya, or it is known as raja charita, a greedy temperament. There are 6 main charita as follows. So the first one is those who have greed as tendency. Their disposition is towards desire, and their conduct tends towards the love of beauty and refinement. They should use the concentration subject for countering that tendency, which is the contemplation of unattractive and recollection of the body. Second is dosa charita, those who have aversion as tendency. Their disposition is toward aversion. Their conduct tends towards impatience, irritation, and being hot-tempered. Their appropriate meditation subject for this is metta, including other divine abidings, as well as some of the kasinas, especially colored ones. Third, moha charita, those who have delusion as tendencies. Their disposition is towards delusion. Their conduct tends towards low intelligence, dullness, confusions, and gullibility. This should be countered by learning, inquiring into, and listening to the Dhamma teaching, discussing the righteous Dhamma, or living with a teacher. The helpful concentration subject is mindfulness of breathing. Fourth, sattva charita, those who have faith as tendency. Their disposition is towards belief. Their conduct tends towards faith, inspiration, humility, and being easily moved to acceptance. They should be guided towards something that is worthy of faith, and a belief that is rational, that is recollection of virtues of the Buddhadhamma, the triple gem, comprising of the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha, recollecting their own moral conduct. Any of the first 6 recollections are appropriate. Fifth, buddhi charita, or nana charita, those who have knowledge as tendency. Their disposition and tendency are towards thinking and examining and seeing things as they really are. They should be encouraged to examine reality. And skillful conditions that are conducive to wisdom, such as the 3 characteristics: titlakkhana, anattata, dukkhattata, anicca. The appropriate meditation subjects are recollection of death, recollection of peace, and the analysis of the 4 elements, and the recollection of loathsomeness of food. Vitakka charita, those who have thinking as tendency. Their disposition and tendencies are towards thinking exhaustively, towards scattering thinking. This tendency should be countered with something that focuses the attention, such as mindfulness of breathing. The concentration is casino, for example. These personality has predictable behavior expressions. Take their example. When people with Raja Charita see something, if it has any pleasant aspect, they will focus on those. They will become attached to those and dwell on them, paying no attention to the objects or bad aspects. If that object has any bad aspects, those with dosa charita will be affronted by those. Even if the object has many positive aspects, before they see those, they have already focused on the bad aspects. Buddhi charita. People are similar to some ways to those with dosa charita, in that they do not easily attach to things, but they differ in that of dosa charita, will search for flaws, find them even where there are none, and fall into aversion, while the buddhi charita will search for negative aspects and flaws that actually exist, simply not attach to them and pass by them. People with moha charita will be able to decide clearly on the object. They tend towards indifference. If others say it's good, they tend to agree. If others say it's bad, they tend to agree with that too. The vitaka charita types thinks aimlessly, thinking of things good points and bad points in generally confused manner, and they can't decide whether to like it or not. The sattva charita types are similar to some ways to the raja charita. They have tendency to look at the good aspects of things, but they differ in that they may inspire by something, but they do not attach to or yearn for it like the raja charita. Even so, people tend to have mixtures of these different temperaments, such of the mixture of raja and vitaka, or dosa mixed with buddhi. In the practice of concentration development, samadhi, apart from choosing a suitable meditation subject, choosing other factors that are helpful and appropriate, such as a living place, atmosphere, ease of access, requisites, and food, is also advisable. The 40 meditation themes differ not only in terms of suitability to different personalities, but also in different level of results to which they lead. Each has a different capacity to produce various levels of concentration, samadhi. They give a table here, but I'm not going to read it, but the table below briefly outlines the relationship between meditation objects and the relevant suitable disposition and levels of samadhi they can achieve. And you guys can go ahead and check out this table. It's on page 641. It's the summary of meditation techniques. But I'm going to leave off of there today, and we will pick up in the bottom of 641 on the next one. But here is the table, and you could either pause and just check out this table of summary of meditation techniques. The essential of Buddhadhamma, the teaching and practice of the Southern style Theravada Buddhism, the path to the elders, compiled by Bhikkhu or Somdet Prabhuta Gosa Charya, English name P.A. Payuto, translated and edited by Bruce Evans, and we'll pick up at page 641 on the bottom.